Good day, viewers, and welcome back to the Tourismus Namibia broadcast. I am Precious Hitanapo, your host and presenter, alongside the beautiful Jemima Ndebede. Jemima, how are you doing today?
Very well, thank you. How are you today?
Can't complain.
It is such a beautiful day to take our viewers on a tour around Namibia through our 3 segments, isn't that?
Yes, and that includes topics, destinations, and to the point. But can we get straight into topics, Jemima?
Well, let's head right into it. Well, first up for topics, we have something that is rather interesting as Namibia witnessed its first ever procedure that was carried out to help rhino cows with endometriosis. A team of animal reproductive vets from South Africa, Dr. Monet Delaray and his assistant, Carla Habst, recently visited the Rhino Mama project with the Wildlife Vets Namibia to examine some of the rhinos that haven't calved in a long time, or ever in some cases. Delaray and his company, Embryo Plus, started using assistive reproductive technologies, also known as ART, in cattle in the 1980s. These techniques involve the manipulation of sperm, oocytes, and embryos in vitro with the aim of creating a pregnancy. In 2017, Delaray founded the non-profit organization called Rhino Repro. Rhino Repro's goal is to ensure the survival of the white and black rhinos by supporting the species with ART methods. The Rhino Mama project said that they paid them a visit because there are 3 rhinos on their reserve that have never had a calf. After examination, it was found that these 2 calves' ovaries were not looking very good and that they had endometriosis. These are abnormal growths in multiple parts of the uterus that would make it difficult for them to conceive. So a procedure was performed to essentially reset the ovaries and the hormones they produce. How interesting is that?
I think that's quite interesting with the little knowledge that I had on endometriosis. I just definitely didn't think that it's also something that animals could go through.
Yeah.
It's a rather painful experience.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
The fact that they were able to pick it up and actually do something about it is looking good, also that we can increase our rhino population with that.
Certainly. What is rather interesting to me is the fact that Dr. Delaray specialized his reproductive skills to rhinos particularly.
Yes.
That is so fascinating.
I know, it definitely is. But on to our next topic, we have a look at the upside down house, which is definitely a first for Namibia. The upside down house on the Edenbury Strawberry Farm has become the latest tourist sensation. The house was officially opened last weekend and has all the furniture in the opposite direction of a typical building, which generates an optical illusion for visitors. The peculiar house is the brainchild of farm owners Richard and Desiree van Wyk and has attracted many social media influencers and visitors since July 29th. The Edenbury farm, formerly known as Narugas, is located just 60 kilometers from Windhoek en route to Rehoboth. Here, visitors can enjoy the upside-down experience as well as strawberry picking, picnicking, and many family activities, the owners said. Edenbury is the first in Namibia to offer this unique photo experience that defies gravity by walking or dancing on the ceiling. Now, Jemima, an upside-down house, I think I would be so confused by walking into that house at first sight, but it's definitely something interesting that we should make a stop at.
No, certain. And if you are watching and anybody under my voice, I would advise you to check it out as well. I mean, who wouldn't enjoy going for a good strawberry picking session and then going to enjoy this optical illusion of a house?
Exactly.
It is certainly the perfect way to spend a Saturday evening or afternoon rather with your family. So make sure to check that out.
I must agree.
Well, next up on topics, we have rather good news for the Namibian tourism sector, as Namibia participated and was successfully elected as a member of the World Tourism Organization Executive Council at its recent 66th Commission for Africa meeting in Mauritius. According to Namibia's tourism ministry, this is a great achievement for Namibia and the tourism sector. The Executive Council is the governing body of the United Nations World Tourism Organization that sets the budget, priority programs and activities to make tourism an effective tool for development through technical assistance projects in member countries around the world. This achievement is in line with the Ministry's National Growth, Development Agenda and Recovery Strategy to provide opportunities and generate maximum benefits for Namibia in terms of market knowledge, competitiveness, sustainable tourism policies and instruments, tourism education, as well as training for the sector. Certainly good news there, seeing how much COVID-19 set back the tourism industry there.
Yeah, I think congratulations definitely goes out to Namibia for being elected and also, for participating and being successfully elected as a part of the Commission. I think there are so many benefits that our tourism industry can reap from this opportunity, and I can't wait to see how much we make use of this opportunity.
And how much more the industry grows, because I mean it's only up from here afterwards.
Yes, definitely. But that does end us for topics. Up next we have destinations.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
Welcome back. It's of course time for destinations, and up first in destinations we have a look at Goodfellas, who is popularly known for their oven fresh pizzas. Goodfellas Pizza and Pub brought their killer oven fired pizzas to Windhoek in 2019 during the difficult pandemic times when good cheer and laughter were much needed. Even now, the lively establishment carries a certain charm that locals and visitors can appreciate. Come and have a look, chat to the owners and staff, and catch a glimpse of the many sociable gems scattered through the capital. And for those of you wondering, Goodfellas is just located at 18 Lillicorn Street, all the way in Windhoek. Let's have a look at that video.
Sunset sets in over Windhoek City, the capital of Namibia, a country often called Africa for beginners. You, after exploring the city, might be feeling also the hunger pangs setting in. And while Windhoek offers plenty of exotic delicacies, including kapana, and pens and poikies and bokop, you might be in the mood for something a little bit more familiar. Come down to Robert Mugabe Avenue here in the heart of town on the corner of Lillicorn Street and see what you can find. Get yourself a killer pizza, and there's no better place in Windhoek to get a killer pizza than Goodfellas. Let's check it out.
fun helping yourself.
Hello, I'm Gabriel Fuma. I'm the bartender at Goodfellas. This is a place to be. We are well known for our best pizzas, the burgers and the steaks. It's bar here, the ambience is very nice. Come to visit Goodfellas. Goodfellas is good for the tourists and the locals as well. Very affordable. Thank you very much.
Look at that.
Hello, my name is Alexa Rack. I'm the owner of Goodfellas Pizza Pub. My partner, Shaw Bassingthwaite, and I, we own it. We started in 2021 during Corona time, which was a little bit tough, but we made it. Yeah, it's a great vibe. We've got live music every Saturday. Sometimes in the week we do bingo nights, which are very, very popular and much loved. Yeah, we're just trying to create a wonderful vibe for everybody, good service and good food, and our customers turn into family at the end of the night.
Well, that certainly was an interesting conversation to listen to. Well, next up, we will be taking a look at the coastal side of things as we hear what stone carver Malvin Mali Timbanite has to say. Malvin is a Swakopmund based stone carver who will talk to us about the stone carving process as well as his target audience. Interested viewers can find him at the craft market next to Strand Hotel. Let's hear what he has to say.
My name is Malvin Timbanite Mali. I'm currently here at Kavita Market, Swakopmund. This is my art that I'm doing. I do stone carvings. These stones, they are coming from different places of Namibia. So what I do is I carve the rock into different things, like animals. I carve sculptures like soap dishes. So I use different set of tools, like I've got chisels, raspers, hacksaws, and different. And then from there, I have to put them in water to make them smooth. The reason why I make them smooth is so that you can see the original color of the rock. So from here, see, this one is not yet smooth, still rough. And this is now smooth. So when it is smooth, then the original color is coming out. So mostly my customers, they are coming from, I can pretty much say, all over the world. From Germany, France, Belgium, even few local people, they are starting to appreciate our art. So we really give thanks for that. Okay, to carve like a piece like this one, from the rock itself until it is like this, I can say it can take like a day or two until it is finished. Like now, tourists, they start coming end of July, and then August it is really booming until from August until December there. We are having a lot of customers, and then just after maybe mid of January, then it's becoming a bit tough. Like here, this area is owned by municipality, so we really appreciate. They actually built for us better shades, and they are putting lighting so that when it is like dark, there is also lights and everything. So only now it's not yet completely finished. So I think they are going to be putting like sheds so that our stock cannot have water, because here it's too much mist and showers, you know, and also windy. So when there are sheds, then we are okay. Yes.
Well, that does bring us to the end of destinations. I think that was quite an interesting one to listen to, considering the fact that we really look past what goes into stone carving.
Truly.
Yeah, not forgetting Goodfellas as well, but that is it for destinations. Stay tuned for the To The Point. Apologies, up next.
We are so excited to be kickstarting your morning with the entertainment.
Everything was happening during this past weekend.
Yes. Exciting news.
Wow, no, she was killing it already.
In my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with him serving the full term.
As well as keeping you informed on the issues that you need to know happening in and around our country.
Welcome back. It's of course time for To The Point, and today we have a look at the pangolin, which is an endangered and relatively unknown species. It is one of the most trafficked mammals in the world, and let's have a look as Kelsey Prediger, the founder and director of the Pangolin Conservation and Research Foundation, tells us about the conservation of pangolins in Namibia. Let's hear what they have to say.
My name is Kelsey Prediger, and I'm the founder and director of the Pangolin Conservation and Research Foundation. I'm also the Secretariat of the Namibian Pangolin Working Group, which is chaired by Kenneth Wieseb of the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism. I am also an IUCN Pangolin Specialist Group member and the co-chair for Southern Africa. Some of the work that I do really focuses on research when it comes to pangolin ecology and the monitoring of live confiscated released pangolins. And this research is extremely beneficial because we learn a lot about pangolins where we know very little information. I completed my Master's of Natural Resource Management, focused specifically on pangolin ecology, where we looked at home range sizes, prey preference, and burrow selection in one population in central Namibia. And with this information, we are able to get a better understanding that their preferences vary across habitats and regions, and that we need to do more research to understand what they eat in different areas of the country. But this has been beneficial in helping us develop guidelines for pangolins, as well as drafting the National Conservation Management Plan. I've gotten into conservation because I've had a passion for wildlife, and I really enjoy helping a species, and that's kind of what got me involved with pangolins. They're the most trafficked mammal, but very under-researched. We still have a lot that we can learn about the species. Some of the successes include completing my master's degree. All of the research that I've completed is underway for publication, as well as accomplishments of the Namibian Pangolin Working Group. We have created transport guidelines, release guidelines, as well as a first responders handbook, which we've trained over 140 first responders on as the Namibian Pangolin Working Group. We've also created an ecology poster for Namibia that's currently being distributed to schools in all the different regions and communities. We have also an awareness poster that was redeveloped. So there's been quite a lot of accomplishments, I would say, in the past year for pangolins. And as we move forward, we hope to tag every single live confiscated released pangolin to gain an understanding of their survival and survival strategies, as well as their impact on resident pangolins. A little bit of an explanation on how we track pangolins. We have a couple different tracking systems. So we have a VHF, which is very high frequency transmitter, and this transmitter we are able to locate it using an antenna and a handheld device. So we use this device to track the transmitter. Basically it's tracking a radio frequency, and we'll get a beep, and the closer you get, the stronger the signal. So that allows us to locate the animal, but it doesn't collect any data for us. So you actively have to find the animal every time that you're tracking it, and the range on that transmitter is only about, at maximum, 1 to 2 kilometers. If they're underground in a burrow, it could be as little as 10 meters. And so, having said that, confiscated pangolins can move large distances over a short period of time, as well as dispersing pangolins. So we have a satellite transmitter. I didn't mention with the other one, but here you can see we have a bolt, nut, and washer. The end of the pangolin scale is non-vascularized, meaning there's no nerves or feeling. So we drill a hole through the scale and attach this onto the scale. And with this transmitter, we're actually able to track the movement, because this transmitter communicates to the satellites in the sky, which then communicate to the computer, and we can see where the pangolin is moving, and it actually will collect a lot of data for us, such as how fast it was moving, the position of the transmitter, as well as the temperature around. So we get a lot of information from these two things, and it's a really valuable resource to understand what happens with pangolins. Because they're predominantly nocturnal, not everywhere can we consistently track them with VHF transmitters due to other dangerous wildlife and circumstances. So we can gain a lot of information by using these together. We use both tags because in some situations carnivores will bite a transmitter off, and it's a backup plan. If one is off, we still have a means to relocate the animal. When it comes to the satellite tracking, it's not a cheap thing, it's a bit expensive. And so the first GPS satellite tracked pangolin was in July of 2020. She's still doing well. You can actually read a little bit about her story on the Conservation Namibia website blog. And this year we only got transmitters in the second half of the year, but we were able to fit 5. And our goal for this year is to be able to fit every single live confiscated pangolin with a satellite tracker. And there's on average 30 live confiscated pangolins per year, give or take. My final take-home message to Namibians about pangolins are that we should really work together to raise awareness and protect them. They are a prehistoric, basically, species that's been around for nearly 85 million years, and they've only come under threat recently due to the trafficking of the species. And they do provide valuable resources for Namibians far and wide. If you recall the really dry years we had in 2018, 2019, quite a few pangolins died, as well as livestock and wildlife. And pangolins actually consume a large number of ants and termites, up to 7 million per year, actually. And the species they choose are actually harvesting species, meaning the ants and termites they eat target grasses and organic material, which in turn is food for wildlife and livestock. So having a healthy population of pangolins in your area is much more valuable than removing them from wildlife. So a happy pangolin is a wild pangolin.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nhmh.com.na.
Well, that was it for To The Point. Thank you so much for sticking around for the rest of the show. We had an interesting choice of topics here today, as well as our destinations, which was Goodfellas and a look at a stone carver all the way in the coastal town of Swakopmund. Not forgetting our To The Point segment, where we have a little look at endangered species, which are the pangolins. Jemima?
That was certainly a good show, but from us, sadly, we'll have to see you next week. So from me, Jemima Ndebele,
and Precious Nitanapo, it's goodbye.